everybody, and welcome to Movie Couple Live. This is a show where we talk about the latest in movie news and pop culture. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And happy Saturday, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to spend and hang out with us for the next hour or so. On today's show, we're talking about that new and final, I guess, Eternals trailer.
We're also going to be talking about Black Canary maybe having a movie coming to HBO Max.
The Russos exits the Magic the Gathering series at Netflix.
And also we're going to be discussing spoilers for episode 2 of Marvel's What If.
All this and more on today's show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We hope you guys are having a good Saturday as well. Let us know what your choice of breakfast was this morning. I decided to go with tea today, which is not, if you know me or you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that I am a hardcore. I prefer my coffee in various different styles. I like a regular hot, just like drip coffee, a little pour over that I do at home, or like an iced coffee that I make at home, cold brew, or my favorite with coffee. But yesterday, I think, no one saw the vlog because it's technically not up yet, but I bought a coffee from 85 Degrees, the bakery. And it's the sea salt coffee. And I know you're thinking that sounds weird. Don't mock it. If you wait, what's
don't knock it till you try
knock it. Don't thank you. Yeah. Don't knock it. I couldn't find like the word that rhymed. Don't knock it till you try it. It's surprisingly good, but it gave me weird
like jitters kind of a thing.
But it was like a long jitter.
Oh, really? Like it lasted for a while?
Like almost the whole day.
Oh.
I don't know. And it wasn't just having just the coffee. Sometimes I do that where I'll have coffee and then I'll feel really full from the coffee and then I won't eat anything until 4 p.m., which is terrible.
Probably not terrible
for your body.
Diet to go on.
It's not, and it's not intentional either. I just don't feel the hunger. So I'm just like, I'm not going to eat, or I get carried away with work and then I forget to eat. That's usually the case.
Yeah. Especially when you start getting super busy going out through your day and you're just really focused on work. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's 5 o'clock and I haven't eaten anything since breakfast.
No wonder I'm feeling angry.
Getting that hangry going. And you don't want to see Wendy when she's angry.
I am pretty... Am I ferocious when I'm angry?
Oh, yeah, quite ferocious.
Well, you guys, welcome to today's show. So we have a lot to talk about today. Thank you for everybody for being here. Debbie says, loves the shirt, Wendy. Thank you very much. I actually opened this on my most recent unboxing. So what happens is when you don't stop by your mailbox for a really long time and then you get sent stuff and you forget that, well, you don't realize that it's there, because it's easier for me to send it over to the mailbox because there's always someone there to receive and sign for it. Versus here, because we're in apartment settings, sometimes they can't find our apartment for some reason. There was a case I was waiting on a delivery to be made so I could, post and kind of bring awareness to like this one home release. And there was tracking and everything, and it got like sent back, and it was like, oh, it was never delivered. I was like, well, I've been home this whole time.
I'm pretty sure I didn't miss it. I've been home.
I've been here. I even went out looking around the neighborhood just to make sure. I checked with other units to see, if they received the packages. They're like, no, we've been home all day too. So anyways, this is the shirt. It's actually from it's Snake Eyes. And it's Steve Aoki's fashion brand, Dimmock, which it says it right here.
Right there on the sleeve. I like the style.
What's cool is the back. Wait, hold on. Can you see the back?
Yes, you can. Yep, they can see it.
Andrew Koji.
There we go.
My fave. I like you too a lot, Henry Golding, but Andrew Koji is like pretty cool too.
Oh, yep. His amazing work in Warrior.
Yeah. So you can check out the Dimmock or the clothing line under just, I think it's like dimmak.com, and check it out, because they don't just have Snake Eyes, they also have like Looney Tunes and a couple of other really cool stuff. So, pretty cool artwork. We've got a super chat flying in from Marvin. Marvin, thank you so much. Let's see what Marvin recommends us today. Let me see if I can I put it up on the, yeah, here we go. Marvin says Netflix iBoy. New Mutants meets Black Mirror.
Anything that you say with Black Mirror just makes it a little bit more intriguing, because I love that little twist on like the Twilight Zone that Black Mirror does. Just these little snippets of, a social commentary of the future.
And always very creepy, sort of, because it usually has to do with tech in some sort of way. Like there was, I don't remember if it was season 1 or season 2, but it's the episode with Bryce Dallas Howard where everything you do in life is kind of connected to your phone because everything is based on your like rating and your social standing, your likes. And I was like, wow, social media could really get out of hand.
Yeah.
And become that. And it trickles down to like, if you don't have enough likes, then you don't get this quality of service, or people treat
medical procedures.
That's crap. I hope it never becomes that, because that's trash. But thank you so much, Marvin, for your recommendation. New Mutants meets Black Mirror. That's really, really very interesting. And somebody asked about it. MK says, iBoy is the movie with Maisie Williams, and Marvin confirms, yep.
Well, we're definitely going to have to check that out, especially any recommendations that are like Netflix. Because, you know, like, oh, I can just flip it on Netflix kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So easy accessibility. So iBoy.
If I let Dustin watch it when I'm not watching my K-drama.
that is actually a big chunk of time that is filled up, is Wendy on her K-dramas.
I just can't, because I can't stop thinking about it. So yeah, like, naturally I watch going. I was like, I gotta see what's next, and every episode is a cliffhanger for the next.
Well, and each episode's like an hour and a half long.
Yeah,
so it's a commitment to be like, okay, just plow through.
It's a real commitment. And hey, before we dive into announcements and stuff, let's see what you guys had for breakfast. We told you what we had. All I said was tea. I also had a chocolate hazelnut muffin, and you don't know this because you just took a tiny bite out of the one, but in the middle it's like melted chocolate.
Ooh.
I didn't know this, and I put the whole just that center part in my mouth, and I was like, there's a lot of stuff happening right now.
How did breakfast turn into the dessert meal? You know,
I'm not complaining.
And that's how we start off our day, with all of these sugars and carbs, and yet it's just like breakfast is like a waffle with butter and just tons of syrup on it.
Why not? You know, it's first meal of the day. Make it good.
Yeah, with sugar, carbs, and fats.
So let's see what some of you guys are having today. Nick says, I wanted them to be hot.
Pizza for breakfast.
My toaster sucks, asshole. Nick said he went with cold ass bagels. I am so sorry. You know what? It's better cold than like try to microwave them. Never microwave breakfast things like bagel, because it does something where it pulls all the moisture out, and it just becomes like rock hard. You don't want that. RMD says protein pancakes. Dang, get them gangs up. Yes. Sean says pancakes and OJ and hash browns. That's a full breakfast.
That's a good meal.
Nice. And Debbie had bagel with scallions, cream cheese. Ooh.
Oh, I'm jealous.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, all I had
She's
was
also
my
New York, so like bagel is
and...
much better over there. Bagel is much better on the East Coast.
Oh yeah.
I hate to say it, but it's true.
Something in the water.
It's true. It's true. Vanja had pizza, Marvin had green tea, and Bleeding Green had scrambled eggs.
Ooh.
All of those better than
what we
dessert
had.
Muffin.
Yeah, I mean, even I had just a cup of coffee and one of those, what are they called? Muffins?
Oh,
or not muffins, but bread.
It's a Taiwanese pastry. Some people call it pineapple bread. Other people call it the bolo bun, because the Chinese name says it's bolo mianbao, so it literally translates to bolo bread or bolo bun.
Bolo bread.
Bolo bread, bolo bun. All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and dive into our first bit of news flash. But before we do have a couple of new things up on the channel. If you're subscribed and you've got the notification bell turned on, you probably have already seen it. We've got a vlog that's up there right now. Vlog number 130. That's us at the Shang-Chi premiere. And then there is also the trailer reaction for the Eternals final trailer, which is exactly what we'll be talking about right now. So, oh no, just kidding. We're talking about Toys R Us. Sorry, I don't read my own. I don't read my own show notes. That's just a part of it. Okay, so yeah, before we get into like the breaking down of the trailer and all that stuff, let's talk a little bit about this news. Once upon a time, there was a toy store named Toys R Us.
And then they went the way of the dodo.
However, starting in 2022, customers will again be able to shop at the toy store. And this is not going to be back in like the regular fashion where we know them here in the States, like a freestanding store. We actually had a Toys R Us somewhere near us.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just got wiped out. And we wish we had gone in earlier because everything was on sale.
Yeah, we did go
25, 50, 75% off.
We got some cool Nerf stuff.
We did.
For pretty cheap.
A bunch of full-grown adults buying Nerf guns.
Hey, I grew up on that stuff, so I love me my Nerf toys.
This is true. So they're partnering up with Macy's, so you will be able to shop inside a Toys R Us again under this new partnership. So that means that the department store will have built in like a Toys R Us section in their department store. So if you're near a Macy's in 2022 and you missed that Toys R Us shopping experience, you can go ahead and get that in Macy's. And I just wanted to kind of point that out because I think, that was growing up for us. That was the toy store.
Yeah. I mean,
Toys R Us.
Anytime that your parents would be like, okay, well, you know what? Let's go and get a toy. Where do you want to go? It's, Toys R Us, because it's always the biggest place.
What's the theme song that the giraffe sings?
The I don't want to grow up.
I don't want to grow up. I'm Toys R Us. Okay.
But the thing is, nowadays, it's kind of tough for a store like that to survive, because anything that you can get at a Toys R Us store, you can get on Amazon. You can get on the website. You can get somewhere on the internet and have it delivered to you. So I think the way that they're starting to attack this is to be like, okay, let's pair up with another brick and mortar store like Macy's that's also having some troubles, because once again,
department stores too, you're right.
Yeah, department stores, malls, the physical, tangible locations are really starting to suffer because, 75% of their income is now going out because you can just buy it on the internet.
Yeah, 100%.
So now that they're teaming up, and it's weird because it's not really going to be a Toys R Us store. I think it's going to end up being more of a Toys R Us section inside of a Macy's.
Because it can't be as grand and as big. That place was huge.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Toys R Us were just huge warehouses that were converted into toy stores.
Yeah.
So if you just have the best stock in the world back when, you couldn't get anything online, that's where you wanted to go. The one that had the biggest selection.
I remember because probably I was so little in size, I remember going to the first time to a Toys R Us here in the States. When I, first came over from Taiwan, I was like, what is this? Having the kids here get that too? Not to like say Taiwan, we don't have Toys R Us. We actually did see a Toys R Us on our last trip to Taiwan. Granted, it was much smaller and more compact, but it was still cool to be like inside a Toys R Us. We thought that was really cool. And Marvin Martin actually sent over another super chat to say, if you could make your own ideal toy/toy store, what would it be?
Oh, okay. Well, okay. This is what I've always kind of wanted.
And let us know what you guys would do in the comments.
This is for my ideal toy. I'm going to focus on that because I have an idea that I would love to see happen. So as most of you know, Wendy and I are huge with D&D. We love D&D.
Yes.
Tabletop role playing. I'm telling my story.
I'm sorry. Remember. Okay. I know. I just got excited for your story.
Because there's this one place that every time we go to the El Capitan that you walk by, and it's a big empty room and everyone puts on their VR helmets and you have like zombies attack you from all angles. A part of me is like, what I really like to do is to kind of take that and turn it into a tabletop role-playing game kind of environment to where you can build your character and you would be even able to select the kind of weapons that you have. So you would even have like a bow. Because I know, like, what is it? When we did the Void and we did the Star Wars thing, you could pick up you would pick up like a blaster and you would still have it and you'd be able to shoot. I think if you had this big open space, the VR helmet on, the backpack on, and you would be able to build your character and go on an adventure through the caves, through tunnels, through this entire new world that's all digital, but it still feels like you are there in the adventure. And it's kind of like taking LARPing and VR and mixing them together.
So it's more than a toy store, or should I say it's not just a toy store, it's a whole experience.
Yeah. That would be my kind of toy that I would want to build.
That's
to try and get as close to that really being in the tabletop role-playing game kind of a thing.
I like that. I think for me, I would sort of embrace the layout and format of the Toys R Us store. So different brands, different companies, and different types of toys would be in there, but it would, lean a little bit more, obviously, like this is my store, so probably it wouldn't be targeted for the young audience. Like you probably won't find Paw Patrol in there, but you will find minis, you know, that are either pre-made painted, or you can pick up blank ones and to be painted. You can pick up, you know, all the miniature sets for TRPG, any sort of games like that. And I think I want to do like a station where you can reserve a time, and you can kind of like how Funko Pop make your own Funko Pop in the shop, where you go up and you kind of do a digital design based on what something like Hero Forge can offer you.
Yeah.
And they have a 3D printer right there, so you can walk out with the store with your personalized mini right there, where you can sit down and paint it if you would like. Obviously, this would exist outside of the COVID stuff, because I want people to be in there and like chit chat. There'll be a little coffee bar in there serving, you know, themed foods and coffee, like a butter beer, you know, like a pumpkin juice, like, I don't know, name a something from one of the movies, and
get like a good big what is that from the Flash, the belly burger, big belly burger, big belly burger, I think.
Something like that. That'd be cool. Stuff like that. I would definitely do, you know, a Disney section, a Marvel section, a DC section, a dice section. There'd be apparel, and there'll be like a corner, just a corner, like, because it can't be the whole store, but like K-pop. 100 K-pop, anime, and pins. And I want to do like an exhibit where different independent artists can come in with their fantasy pin design and sell it there.
That would be
just
cool.
To
so
kind of
get
there.
Like an artist's corner from
artist
Comic-Con.
alley.
Artist alley. That's what I was thinking.
I think that'd be cool. All right, so that is my store, which is it's a lot. It's what I would love to have. And General Grievous also with another super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Right, department stores may go away, then return as a fad. Yeah, it's
kind
true.
of.
It's kind of weird. We got the nostalgia thing right now. We see clothes doing the recycle, the cycle that comes back, where kids are wearing certain things now. And I was like, I remember that, but like I was high school.
Kind of like when they were selling like the either VHSs or the what are those called? Like the cassettes, the audio cassettes.
The Tamagotchis are back.
And they still have like the Walkman. Because it's
the CD players that come back, right? The skippable ones.
Oh my gosh. I remember the old CD Walkman. It's kind of like it defeated the purpose of even having a Walkman, because it kept on skipping so much. And then the special feature of anti-skip that didn't work.
Let's see what some of you guys are saying about your own personalized stores. Jocko writes, an ideal toy store. A toy store, sorry, I lost it. It's stocked with every single toy, game, action figure, figurine collection, etc. you've purchased and or collected throughout your life. That's cool. That's like your life in memory, but also displayed. That is cool. Marvin says a voodoo doll that I could Chucky myself into so I could be immortal and always come back from death. I mean, as long as you're not evil and like, you know, running around killing people.
That would be weird. That if we started to get to a point in our technology to where we could transfer our consciousness into certain items, and there's really not very many humans around anymore. There's just a whole bunch of different things that people have put their subconscious into, whether it be like a Chucky doll, or putting their subconscious into like a mech warrior kind of a thing, or into a superhero action figure,
right?
But like a full-size one. That would be kind of interesting. That if once you kind of like start playing with what could you put your body into or your mind into.
So there's a fun little discussion there on what we would put in our own and you guys' own ideal toy stores. Oh no.
The next super chat. I'm just like, I'm never gonna live it down.
We got to read this out loud. Thank you so much, General Grievous, for bringing it back. If you open a store, you need Suckles merch.
Suckles merchandise, most definitely. The combination of Sonic and Knuckles.
When you try to say it too fast, but your brain doesn't want to catch up to your mouth. It comes out.
Freudian slips when you say one thing but mean your mother, right?
Oh, what?
Mean another. That's where you. A slip of the.
I gotcha. It took me a second. I gotcha. I was drifting, but I caught the wave. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic here, and let's see what it is. Speaking of, I just wanted to kind of touch up on this. Oh gosh, just a little bit, because and it kind of goes into the next topic as well. Here in LA, obviously, and I think pretty much all over the US, the Delta variant is kind of the dominant strain for COVID now. And this is not going to be like super preachy or anything like that. We just kind of want to update, especially if you are coming to LA or if you're in LA. Most places now are requiring not just a vaccination card, proof of vaccination, but they're also requiring negative COVID tests. And that includes LA concerts, LA festivals, productions for television and film. I'm starting to see that pop up more and more. The Emmy Awards just made the announcement as well that's what
you must
they will
be vaccinated
required,
and have a negative test.
Right. And then something as far as that's outside of LA, New York Comic Con has required a proof of vaccination, as well as Dragon Con. So this is all just to say, if you are going out to a festival, concert, or a convention, just double check the guidelines to make sure that it's not just the COVID test that's required, because we would hate for anybody to show up and you're not fully vaccinated and you get turned away. And I don't know if that's the money you can get back or not get back.
Yeah.
So if you're able to get the vaccine, if you're not allergic to any of the ingredients, and you obviously make the smart choice, talk to your physician and make the right choice. If you have any concerns, don't
and
just.
Plus, it's also going to make getting to all of these different events that are happening, whether it's New York Comic Con, Dragon Con, or any of these big conventions. It's just going to make going to them a lot easier, and a lot more fun. You'll just have to worry about it a lot less. There's going to be a lot less stress on your mind if you've gotten the vaccine and you've gotten your test, and everybody else has gotten it.
Yes,
kind of a thing. Kind of like, okay, we can kind of have this little taste of normalcy back in our lives.
Yeah.
That I have to admit that when we went to the Shang-Chi trailer, premiere, we see trailers a lot. But when we went to the Shang-Chi premiere, it was nice to have this healthy dose of what is that called? Normalcy back, to have it to where it's like the world is still turning. We're still able to do all these fun things. So it just makes those events and those things so much nicer and so much just more easier to partake in.
And mind you, mask was still required anytime you were indoors. And I would say like 90% of people had them on. I think the people that I saw mostly with them off, it was really for just a quick second to take a couple of photos. And then obviously the talent who came by to do interviews, obviously their faces were shown, because we want to see their beautiful faces.
We got to protect the movie stars.
Just wanted to bring that up. So if you have plans to go to places, just make sure you check all of that. If you need to get the vaccine, just know that if it's 2 doses, it takes like a whole month, because it's not just like one shot, I'm done. You have to also wait, even if it's just a one shot J&J, you still have to wait the 2 weeks. So just keep that in mind as we move on to our next topic, since we're talking about vaccine here. And I know we talk a little K-pop here on the show, but today I really thought we'd would kind of bring this into one of our newsflash topics. So BTS, the global superstar group, one of the biggest groups, the biggest group in K-pop, because they've really become not just K-pop, I feel like they're international.
Yeah, they've really gotten to the point to where they're this generation's Beatles kind of a thing.
They're so great. Just watch one of the performances. Like, even if you don't know their music, you're going to be bopping to the beat. So they have unfortunately postponed their touring plan, their tour for Map of the Soul, for the second time. So it's unfortunately not going to happen as they have planned. And they recently released this statement, quote, "Our company has worked hard to resume preparation for the BTS Map of the Soul tour, knowing that all fans have been waiting eagerly and long for the tour. Due to changing circumstances beyond our control, it has become difficult to resume performances at the same scale and timeline as previously planned." So, they're not the only ones that's backing out of concerts. Garth Brooks actually has also backed out from his big concert plan. Saying that because of the rising cases in COVID, he really would like to not help that along. He wants to negate that. So it's an unfortunate, scenario, but it's really, like the statement said, out of their control. They have to make the best decision for their staff, their artists, and of course the fans, the army. So originally this tour was slated to begin in April of 2020. Obviously that stopped because COVID's everywhere. So and they tried to schedule it a second time around and they couldn't, but you can still get a ton of BTS stuff if you go on YouTube and just they've performed Butter and Dynamite and Permission to Dance so many times, and it's flawless every time. So go ahead and check them out.
And it makes sense. You know, the things like this, I mean, it would have been incredible if we really could have gotten through all of COVID immediately, like how we got through it in like what, a year and a half.
Yeah.
Most of, I mean, from if you look back into history, these viruses last a while. Like the 1918 pandemic lasted 4 years. And if we would, and heck, even if we're getting through it and starting to finally get a grasp on how to handle these events in 2 years, that's still, you know, an impressive, we're cutting it down in half. So I'm hoping that we learn more, and I hope that we were able to slowly be able to get a hang on this so we can go back to seeing our favorite concerts.
I would love to do that. Nick here says apparently people are saying there could be another lockdown. So that's interesting. That is interesting. And
well, actually, New Zealand locked down
after
New Zealand got one case. And they're like, locking down.
Lock it down. You know what? They got to do what's best for their country. And then that's the decision. I fully support that they're trying to, you know, keep things safe, because the sooner they get rid of it in their country, the sooner they can go back to doing normal things.
Yeah.
You know, like they were doing before this. So I obviously cross my fingers and hope for not another lockdown, because nobody had fun with that. As much as I love being a homebody, because there's a lot of stuff I can do at home. There's a lot of cleaning and decluttering that still needs to be done today. And luckily, because of YouTube, I get the luxury of, like, you know, not needing to commute to work and back. But it can also be frustrating because then, you know, other things like going out to like get a boba and like taking a walk on the sidewalk seems a little like trivial, because it's like, if we're in lockdown, should we really actually be doing this? So guys, wash your hands, don't touch your face. That's kind of the mantra we've been repeating.
Nothing new.
All of 2020 and 2021. Just aggressively wash your hands. Let's see. Somebody's birthday, huh?
Yeah, Vanessa.
Vanessa from Well Late to the Party. Oh, I got to text her.
Birthday.
Is she here? She's not here.
To you.
I'll text her after our show. Happy birthday, Vanessa. We love you. We miss you. If you're in LA soon, let's do like a little outdoor, like, hello, little greeting. But I'll text you. Happy birthday.
This is your birthday song. It isn't very long.
Hey. All right, you guys. And with that, we're going to go ahead and move on right along. We're talking the Russos. So it was announced early. I think it was 2019's Comic-Con, right? They announced that it was like during the Russos panel, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was 2018. I don't remember.
It seems like it's been a while since it was really seriously mentioned.
Yes.
And I got to admit, when I first heard about it and I heard that the Russos were involved with this Magic the Gathering animated series, I just was like, that's perfect. This is the kind of genre that would fit into an animated series very, very well.
Yes.
Kind of like how they're turning Critical Role into an animated series. I think Magic the Gathering would do very well in a animated world, because there's so much magic, so much different, just visual, high fantasy kind of things. And you could just go completely bonkers with all of the different kind of styles of animation for Magic the Gathering. And because one, it's part of Magic is, of course, the artwork that's on each and every single one of these cards. It's always beautiful. And to see that just come to life, I think was just got me so excited.
Makes me want to play. I have to find my deck. I don't know what I did with it.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere.
It's somewhere.
Somewhere in like one of our little storage bins.
It's I'll find it. And hence the decluttering. So according to an exclusive by Deadline, this project was originally announced in 2019. Joe and Anthony Russo at the helm. And unfortunately, they have parted ways early in the process over different visions of how to best adapt the IP. So but the parting was amicable. It wasn't sort of like a fight broke out and then like we're leaving, because the Russos under their production company HBO are still working with Netflix to do other things.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's just that they weren't able to agree. Like, you know, they probably saw this series in animation being presented this way, somebody else wanted this way, and you know, if you couldn't come to an agreement with it, then you're prolonging the process of the project. So they unfortunately had to leave, which kind of is really disappointing to hear, because I was very excited to hear that the Russos were a part of the project, that they were at the helm, because I feel like, you know, they're into stuff like that. Like you don't just like get like big Avengers movies without understanding its audience, you know, its source material and all that. So they have that experience, and I would have liked to see how they handled an animated series.
Yeah. And also the fact that when it comes down to Magic the Gathering, it's one of those properties that's a little tricky to adapt, because you don't have like a main, you know, character. It's not like adapting, say, a comic book to where this comic book is focused on Thor, so you can tell the story of Thor. It's more about the world. So you really have to focus on world building and then telling a good story that fits inside of that world. Because if you're focused too much on the characters, you lose the magic. No pun intended. You lose that spark of this incredibly rich and diverse. You can tell pretty much any story you want, as long as it serves that world and fits in that world. That's why I also think D&D, or like if you made like a D&D movie, it's really hard, because it's the world,
it's very vast,
and the adventure that you can have in it.
Yeah.
So I think that is a really tough adaptation to do. So trying to take, I think that's why animation, I think, would be really good. You have to really focus on building your world and the different gods and monsters and struggles that are happening in that world, and then focus on a few little stories, and then expand on that, and then expand on that, to where you get all, I mean, it's kind of like Star Wars right now. You can tell pretty much any story you want in the Star Wars galaxy. You can talk about bounty hunters, you can talk about political intrigue, you can talk about small little wars that are happening here, or the big overall intergalactic struggle between good and evil. So that's kind of the world that Magic the Gathering is providing.
Yeah.
So you have to first build your world and then work on that small
and
story.
Decide where you want to, how you want to start. So now the new team is being led by Jeff Klein, who says this: I am grateful to the Russos for bringing me into the world of Magic the Gathering. And it says, Magic is one of those rare intellectual properties with such a wellspring of mythology that picking and choosing is half the battle. Every single person working on the series understands how beloved this universe is, and feels both the exhilaration and tremendous pressure that comes with translating magic across the mediums. So it sounds like, even though, you know, they had to part ways with the project and there's, you know, a new team in place to take over, it seems like they have an understanding of how important it is to get this right.
Yeah.
And that's really all we can ask for. For Magic the Gathering. So we will keep you guys updated if there's any more updates on Magic the Gathering. And with that, we're going to go ahead.
Actually, before we hop onto our next topic, we do have a super chat from Marvin Martin saying, if you could live your ideal Magic fantasy. So I think what you really have to break down for this question is, what is your ideal Magic system? You know, is it something like in Star Wars with the Force? Is it something more like Avatar, The Last Airbender, where it's the elements? You know, what is your Magic system that you want to live in? And I would have to say, if anyone has read the books of The Wheel of Time,
I knew you were going to pick it.
Their Magic system, not the world itself. I wouldn't necessarily want to live in a world where there are half human, half animal monsters that want to come and kill everything in sight. But more along the lines of the way that they have their Magic system, to where you can use these different elements of fire, wind, water, air, spirit, and all of the combination of weaving taking all these threads of power and then being able to create something out of it. So it's more like magical cooking, to where different ingredients, and no one really knows exactly everything about it because it's just different threads, different ways that you can put something together. So it's endless possibilities of what you can achieve. It's just that experimentation and figuring it out kind of a thing. And I like that kind of magic system to where anything is possible. It's just, how do you use the ingredients that you have to get the magic effect that you want?
Marvin says, you're prejudiced against interspecial relationships. Shame on you.
I am? What did I say?
You said like something about magical beings and beasts and humans.
Oh, no. So in the Wheel of Time, there are these monsters called Trollocs. And what this one evil person did was take animal stock and human stock and mix them together, and they are just bloodthirsty, kill everything that's around them kind of creatures. And it's kind of like people are like, what fantasy world do you want to live in? And they say Game of Thrones. And you're like, that's dumb. You're going to die. If you're really in the Game of Thrones world, you're going to die pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying that I don't want to live in the world of Wheel of Time, but I would love to take that.
You just don't want to die when you step outside. That's all.
Yeah, you're like, it's a beautiful day, and then an arrow goes through your neck, or a Trolloc or a monster comes up and bites your head off.
Oh yeah, none of that.
I don't want to live in that world. I want to use that magic system.
You're like hanging up laundry and you hear Drukais and everything.
Yeah.
As everything's set ablaze. I think for me, I don't support J.K. Rowling's and all of the BS that she said, the insensitive stuff she said, but I still love the lore of Harry Potter. So I think for me, that's probably a ideal magic fantasy that I would probably want to, live in for a little while. And especially like goes back to food, man. Some of the good food that they have there.
I want real butterbeer.
And like, how cool is it to go to a magic school?
Yeah.
And obviously in this like ideal fantasy, there would be no prejudice or divide between like the pure whatever Draco Malfoy and the muggles. It's just, you want to learn magic, come and learn magic, so that's what I would do.
And that's also a very good connection too, that I like about Harry Potter magic, the magic system, is the fact that it is a science that you can do pretty much anything you want with it. You just have to figure out how. I like a magic system that has a lot of similarities to science, kind of a thing, because it's something cool that you can grasp onto, instead of just like, oh, you can only do force pushes, kind of.
Force push. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, not to bag on Star Wars. I love Star Wars.
Oh my God, you grew up on Star Wars.
I grew up on Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I like a magic system that's a little bit more like, has some familiarity with science.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. All right. Should we move on to the next topic?
Yes, please.
All right. So we're talking a Black Canary movie for HBO is in the works, which is super exciting because we only got to see her once so far in Birds of Prey, but I feel like Jurnee Smollett did such a fantastic job, literally in everything she does, but specifically also, as Black Canary, that I would love nothing more than a Black Canary movie for HBO Max. And what's cool is Misha Green, who she also worked with in Lovecraft Country, is writing. So this is, to me, the dream team up. So I can't wait to see what this is going to be. There's an article on Deadline about this. So WB and DC Films are moving forward with a Black Canary movie at HBO Max. And Sue Kroll will be producing the movie under her Quo & Co. Entertainment banner, who also produced Birds of Prey. So it's, almost the same team working together. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, all the details are unknown. This would be technically a spin-off of Birds of Prey, though we don't know if they can go the way of a prequel or they can go the way of a post Birds of Prey. Either way, I think I'm down here. I'm down to watch it. And obviously, we know there are other DC superheroes that are making their way with their own solo films to HBO Max. That includes Batgirl and Blue Beetle. So this is... I'm hoping that what they're trying to do, that the method for this, and it's not just like, oh, these are like slightly less popular superheroes, so we'll put them on HBO Max. I'm hoping that as they're building and bringing awareness to these characters to give them the platform, and then they want to do like a big, like, let's do like a, you know, Justice League, but like, you know, an ensemble movie of some sort or something. In a way, this is like maybe a way to bring them fully into the DCU.
And I do have to admit, that is one thing that I'm a little concerned about. What I hope is exactly what Wendy said, is the fact that they're like, okay, let's start these off at this level and start working our way up to be able to put some stuff onto the big screen, and less of the fact that it's, oh, we're too skittish or scared to give these characters a full-on big budget movie. So we're just going to dumb it down and put it on HBO only, kind of a thing. And I'm also a little excited that since it is that Misha Green is involved, and she, I have to admit, Lovecraft was such a great,
she's fantastic,
dark, storytelling opportunity. That's kind of the style that they will go for, is more of a dark, gritty kind of story with Black Canary.
So hopefully, I mean, I'm excited for the writing in general, because I think Misha Green is such a fantastic writer. If you haven't yet watched Lovecraft Country, it's, I think, still available on HBO Max. Give it a watch. You will be blown away by all the episode and all the crazy stuff that happened. We also have like a full-on spoiler review of it, so go ahead and check that out up on the channel. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next topic here, because we have still to talk. I don't want to feel, I don't want you guys to feel like I'm trying to rush through the topic. It's just that I know we have to get to What If, and we're running low on time already.
And I want to talk about that so bad.
We do want to talk about that so badly. So we will be seeing Riri Williams in Black Panther 2, potentially. So there's been some new images from the set of Black Panther Wakanda Forever that's hinting at the introduction of Riri Williams. Now, I will say this, I believe, has not been confirmed nor denied by Marvel. However, this is really, really exciting because we know her to be Ironheart.
Yeah.
And there's already been kind of rumors, you know, of Ironheart being officially brought into the MCU. So we're super excited for this. And if you've seen Judas and the Black Messiah, the star Dominic Thorne will be playing the lead in the Disney Plus's Ironheart. But I think it's kind of cool that she gets a little intro in a movie, and then she's gonna get her Disney Plus show.
Yeah, I think that's
really exciting.
That is a great way to kind of kick it off. And I also think it's a great way to connect Ironheart a little bit more soundly into the MCU universe. Because what happens is what is at the end of Black Panther, you have T'Challa and Shuri in, I think, was it New York? Or I can't remember what city it was.
I don't know if it was New York, but I want to. Oh gosh, I don't
remember. Had just bought up all of those properties, and it's the Wakandan outreach program to provide, you know, schools and extended learning to those communities. And I'm like, that is perfect for Riri to come out of that out of that learning environment, of that support, that you just get this incredibly gifted individual that just learned all of this stuff from the Wakandans, that are like, even the Wakandans are like, whoa, you get this. And she's just building up her own Iron Man suit. But since she grew up here in the States, she has that US Western civilization kind of background and culture, but the Wakandan technology and learning, and how to think technologically like a Wakandan, and using materials, and how to use vibranium. And I'm like, that is just a brilliant way to bring in this character, and then be like, okay, now that we've introduced you into the movies, now you're going to go off and have your own Disney Plus series, and
which is so cool.
Connect the two a lot more like stably.
No, I think it's a great way to intro her. So it probably won't be too big of a part, right, in the film. I think maybe it's just like a quick intro.
Oakland.
Go ahead.
It was in Oakland,
right.
California.
That's not New York.
Way off.
Very, very
other
far.
Side of the country.
Very, very far from New York. And I see that on Streamlabs we have a donation, so I gotta just forgot to log in at the beginning, so I'm gonna have to do that real quick. But as I look this up, do you want to talk real quickly about the Eternals trailer and what you thought of it?
Oh, so okay. Yeah.
Why? What?
Oh, I was wondering if you wanted to say anything else about Riri.
I'm just super excited.
Speech is terrible. Riri. My R's and W's I've always struggled with. Riri Williams.
No, let's go ahead and
moving on.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on.
Our the Eternals trailer. I loved it. I thought it was great to finally get a little bit more of a grounded storyline, to be like, okay, that's why they're here. They're here to fight the deviants. Also, well, why didn't you get involved? You've been here for 7,000 years. Why haven't you helped with Thanos or Loki or any of these big threats to the Earth? And it's like, well, we were directly told not to intervene unless it involved deviants.
Right.
So now it leaves the big question of, I thought all of the Celestials were wiped out. Are some of them still alive? Are some of them just in hibernation? Have they come back? Do we now have the Celestials able to communicate with us? I am really excited to now take these new characters and just expand. I can't believe just how much the Marvel Cinematic Universe has expanded, and how they're doing such a great job of being able to explain why these characters have been around, but they haven't done anything. Why haven't they shown up? And they did that. They had a little bit of that problem at the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to where in Iron Man 2, they're like, well, why didn't Captain America come and help save the president? Kind of a thing. Marvel is like, every new property that they are releasing, they now have that in mind. They're like deliberately going, okay, before we release this, we have to have a good explanation on why these characters have either been hidden or haven't been introduced or haven't had any interaction with the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I'm just incredibly excited for them to just take this and expand it even more.
100%. And I finally was able to log into the Streamlabs. Thank you so much to Bleeding Green for your donation.
Thank you, Bleeding Green.
Thank you. Who writes, by the way, I hope you had fun at your at the convention that you went to. Who says, I've been to 2 cons within the last 2 weeks and 90% were masked up consistently. Awesome to hear.
Good to hear.
I am going to 2 more, one in September and one in October, and hoping that they don't get canceled. For you, I hope they don't get canceled either, because I know what it's like to make that decision to buy the ticket. Obviously, you would get a refund if it was canceled, but once you've made that decision to purchase a ticket, then you've have in your head, and you've scheduled everything out. You're prepping like, okay, I want to get this. I can't wait to see that. You start to get more and more excited, and then it gets canceled, and you're just like, you can't even get mad. You can't even get mad about it, because what are you gonna do? Yell at the pandemic? Yell at the invisible virus? So
yeah, I mean, the virus doesn't care if you scream at it.
Yeah, they're just like, well, all right, just keep floating by.
You can't Karen up to the virus and be like, I want to talk to your supervisor.
I want to talk to your manager. So I'm so happy to hear that you've had a lot of fun at the last 2 cons, and I hope that you get to go to the next 2 and you have an awesome time at them. Just keep washing those hands, and don't touch your eyes until you get home and wash your hands again. That's all I got to say about that. Let's see if I've missed anything else here in the comments. Before we move on to what if, and before we get to Marvin's question, I do want to just bring up how gorgeous the Eternals trailer was.
Yes, I love the costumes. I love the
these
colors.
Costumes, the colors. Look at freaking Angelina Jolie. Her and Gemma Chan just stands out to me.
Oh yeah.
I mean, all the ladies.
I really like the costumes. I just love how vibrant they are. I love the colors, and I'm just excited to see more.
And we have these gorgeous visual after visual, scene after scene. We get to see really spectacular imagery here. We got some deviants, which I don't know what I was thinking. Because right now I'm reading the Neil Gaiman comics upon a lot of the movie bunch recommendation. I don't know if the deviants quite look like this, but I do like the way this looks. Here's some more imageries. It's gorgeous. And I think it's going to look really freaking awesome, like on an IMAX screen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is definitely a movie that you want to see in the theaters because of the visuals, of the sound. Big budget blockbuster movies. Yeah, those are the ones that you really like. No, I have to go see this in the theaters.
Gotta go see it in theaters if we can.
2 buckets of popcorn.
Double mask and popcorn. Who raise your hand, put a little hand emoji up in the chat if you do the thing where you take the mask off and you like full hand popcorn in and then do this and then you chew with your mask on, because that's not really you, but that's really me, which is kind of sad. It's kind of sad, but whatever. It works for me. I don't care. No one else is eating popcorn that way, and then I'm not forcing anybody to eat popcorn that way. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our final topic for today, and we got to talk about What If episode 2.
Oh, we do have that.
Just kidding.
See, now we're going into the what if conversation. I think we have a super
I'm so
chat
sorry.
From Marvin Martin.
I am so sorry.
All
right.
Also, I've been wanting to mention this every single time you post. Get a super chat on there with a brand new Marvin Martin thumbnail. I think that's
like a little zombie, a little more like gothy.
Yeah, he looks a little bit more menacing.
I love it. That might be my favorite one so far. That's
pretty cool.
Yeah, because my soul is black. All right, Marvin writes, if you could do your own what if?
That's tricky because technically you can do anything you want. And I love what they're doing right now. I think they're kind of retelling the Avengers story, or the idea of a group of superheroes coming together to fight a battle that they could not fight alone. And it's going to be Captain Carter. It's going to be T'Challa as Star-Lord. It's going to be a different version of Thor, and it's going to be a different version of Doctor Strange. And
I'm just looking at this beautiful artwork that was posted to our Discord by Debbie.
For who? What is it of? I can't really.
Riri Williams.
Of Riri?
Yeah.
And her own armor.
Yeah, it looks really, really
cool. I'm so excited.
Sorry to interrupt your thoughts.
But it's kind of hard of like saying, if you wanted to make your own comic book, what would you kind of base it off of? There's a million different things that you can do.
Yeah.
But I have always loved the idea of what happens if one choice was changed? What happens if, like, say, for example, in this moment of the Avengers movie, this happened instead, to where one thing didn't work? Or what would have happened if Loki did win and the alien, I can't remember, I can't pronounce the name, actually did land that big base there, and they actually took over New York.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of like how you had the what if story for Logan in the comic books and in the movie. Having these what ifs is always so fun to tell, and just taking some of the stories that we love and go,
yeah,
just tweak it a little bit.
Like, what if Draco Malfoy was the chosen one?
Yeah. Or what? Yeah. In
all, we're not. I think
in Harry Potter, because they talked about Trevor. Who was the who was the other kid that was kind of the one with the frog? I can't.
I don't remember his name.
But they were. Like,
I think Debbie will probably.
He could have been the chosen one. It was just the fact that Voldemort chose Harry because he saw him as the bigger threat. What if he would have chose Neville Longbottom?
Neville.
What if Neville actually ended up being the chosen one? He had the lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
Interesting.
That would have been.
That'd be a very different.
He was
very different story. That'd be a very story. It's a very different story. Let's see here. The Chitauri is what you were thinking of.
Yes. Thank you
to those of you who put that in the chat for us.
What if they were, the Avengers got pushed back, and then they had to do retake New York, so to speak.
Yeah, and a couple of other suggestions here. What if Avengers fought Sylvie instead of Loki? Oh, yeah. she would just enchant all of them. That'd be really, really crazy. But that would be very interesting to see as well. Let's see.
I would love to see a little bit more what ifs with Howard the Duck.
What if Peter Quill didn't punch Thanos? When he didn't lose his temperature and screwed up the whole thing?
What? Yeah. Would that have actually?
If he kept his emotions in check, which I understand, it's a whole scenario. But yeah, I remember I was very frustrated watching that. I was like, no, we almost had it. We almost had it, but it's okay because it.
But then the TVA would have come in and been like, okay, nope, you guys can't do this. Reset it.
Yeah, potentially. All right, should we go ahead and move on to what if? Because we technically have 4 minutes left, and that's really not a lot of time to talk about what if. So we'll go just a little bit longer. So spoiler warning for anybody who has not watched the episode 2 of What If yet. We're going to go ahead and dive into spoilers. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. You guys know that Dustin and I have seen the first 3 episodes of What If. We can't really tell you what the next one is about because Disney hasn't released any marketing material for that. So we don't want to be the one that spoil anything for you. But once they start doing that, then we can have the conversation about what's next. Yeah. The next episode is good as well. But this one, out of the 3, I would have to say it's my favorite. Obviously, it has a lot to do with Chadwick Boseman voicing and being obviously a main part of it, having T'Challa as the main portion of the story, but all the different types, because it's a what if. And so, when you take out Peter Quill and you put in T'Challa, everything changes from the way. This was probably my favorite moment, from the way he was greeted, because we were all waiting, not that we were waiting for the who, but it's just such that iconic moment that there's a meme now, of Jaimin Hansel's character going, Star-Lord, who? But it wasn't that. It was, my lord.
Star-Lord!
Star-Lord!
And I love the fact, too, that T'Challa was still very cool and calm. And he's like, I am not quite familiar. I'm not comfortable with that title. Kind of a thing. The way he says that he's like, that is a title I did not give myself, and I'm not really comfortable with people calling me Star-Lord. Yes. But it's exactly what Peter Quill would have wanted but couldn't do, that Star-Lord just naturally did. That it shows that I love this what if storyline too, of the fact that T'Challa, who is a natural leader, what would his influence be if he had a bigger canvas, in a sense, to play with, to where instead of being kind of landlocked in Wakanda and being isolated, what if his reach did go all the way throughout the galaxy? If he influenced different characters like Thanos, like all of these other characters that he comes into contact with, to do good things, that he could be this incredibly powerful force for good.
Oh, yeah.
And I just loved how they kept true to T'Challa's character, but just gave him this huge canvas to play with, to paint his picture of his life.
Yeah, he definitely changed, really brought out the good for people. And there's this sense of like, an air of ease when he speaks, and when you're listening to him talk, it's just that, that kingly behavior, where he doesn't need to raise his voice at all when he speaks to people, even if he's trying to, not convince them, but explain his side of the story. It's never the yelling and the raise of the voice. He just speaks it out calmly. And it's definitely a different Star-Lord than what we obviously know. And that's what I love so much about the what if. And this episode was so full of surprises like seeing Thanos, to the fact that he affected Thanos, who to be like, genocide, what you're doing here is bad. And I love that they touched on that throughout the episode, where all the way to the end, where Okoye is like, that sounds a lot like genocide, my friend. He goes, well, not if it's random. But it's funny that, he convinced the Mad Titan to not do this, which we want to say real quick. Thank you to everybody, because we kind of asked, we're like, what happened with Gamora? But you guys are right. In the comments of our reaction video, technically, if Thanos doesn't do what he was going to do in her village, then he wouldn't have adopted her as his daughter. So it definitely makes sense that she's not showing up, in this scenario as his adopted daughter, because he wouldn't have killed half of her people.
Yeah. Well, and that's also another cool, interesting idea too, is the fact that they really start bringing Thanos's logic into question You know, they really, because at the end of Endgame, everyone's kind of like, well, why eliminate half of life? Why not just make more resources? And the idea of wiping out half of the universe, sooner or later, that half is the population is going to grow back.
Mm-hmm.
So it really just brings that into the light, and kind of like everyone's thinking it, so we're just going to address it.
So we're just going to address it. And the surprises and the cameos keep on coming, because we do see the return, or I guess appearances of other characters from Guardians of the Galaxy that we know, such as Drax, and which was a fantastic, where he's like, oh my, I gotta take a picture of for me and my wife, who, you know, did not die.
I want to show it to my wife and children.
You know, under the hands of Thanos. And of course, a very different looking Nebula with blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. And I wonder if there's any sort of link to her and T'Challa, because she calls him Cha-Cha.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's that little bit of a nickname. I wonder where it comes from. And of course, the story takes them. This is kind of like a heist bit of an episode, which I love.
So good.
They infiltrated the Collector, who we see here, and also in his vault, many knickknacks, not just a whole Wakanda ship, but also the Captain America shield,
mm-hmm.
Thor's hammer, and of course the crown, or whatever you want to call it, that Hela wears, which is really cool to see it in action. But it broke really easily.
Yeah, I have to admit, it just took a little arrow to the helmet, shattered.
I was like, oh, that's
but
it.
But also, there is an Easter egg in there when they have all of the ships up in the corner, very faintly. You can see an X-Wing.
I didn't grab that photo, so you guys have to go back and watch the episode.
You have to go back but they have a whole bunch of different ships from all over the MCU. And the fact that they have an X-Wing hidden very vaguely in the back.
Is that canon? Does that mean Star Wars is a part?
That somewhere in the multiverse, the MCU does come into contact with the Star Wars cinematic universe.
Especially in the galaxy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of makes
Remember,
sense.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
That's what, and I love the fact that they can play with that as well.
I mean, it's all under the same umbrella, so why not? And it's a what if, so it doesn't technically need to be a part of canon.
Yeah.
At all. You know, it's a whole, that's what we love so much about What If. There's a lot to love, I think, about this episode. Obviously for me, definitely hearing Chadwick Boseman's voice again was really something special. And thank you to everybody who commented to let us know that he is contracted and he did film or record 3 more episodes. So we will hear him again. We don't know which episodes are going to be in yet, but we can't wait to find out more.
And this is also a theory that I had that was kind of like, oh, you know what? Having the What If series and know that we're going to get season 1 and season 2, they put T'Challa into 3 different episodes, or at least maybe
4
more. 4 total.
Including this one.
A part of me is like, it would be interesting to have, when they do season 2, if they wanted to do T'Challa again, they would have a variant of T'Challa with a new actor's voice. And then you can have that actor and that T'Challa be introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Interesting.
Because sooner or later, you're going to have to recast Black Panther if you want him to be around in the Marvel cinematic world. And I'm trying to think of a way on how they could kind of ease us into a new actor, because we'll always, when you hear Black Panther, think of Chadwick Boseman.
Of course.
There's no way around that. How do you ease us into having a new face and a new actor?
If that's the route they choose to go.
If they choose to go. But I feel like they're going to have to sooner or later somehow ease us into someone new playing Black Panther.
Well, Marvel definitely has a plan. We just don't know. We're just not a part of that plan.
I want to know
yet.
Let me know, Marvel.
I think we will find out soon enough if people are getting able to take photos of the sets and find out about, you know, Riri Williams debuting, then they will inevitably find out. But Marvel is also very good at keeping secrets.
Oh yeah.
So, you know,
it's very impressive.
Yeah.
In this day and age.
The announcement, whatever they do, will come. We just have to be a little patient. Luckily, there's a lot of really cool stuff coming up with Marvel, not just new What If episodes, but, you know, obviously Shang-Chi coming out in theaters September 3rd. And then following that, we have The Eternals. And then I don't know whenever we're gonna get that Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, whenever that will be. But you guys bet that we will be doing a trailer reaction for it whenever it comes out. And thank you to our Movie Bunch who gave us the heads up on that Eternals trailer dropping early. Because
we were able to catch it right at midnight. I just happened to be flipping through my phone.
Checked, and I was, you guys saw the video. Like I was literally, I didn't even change out of my PJs. I was like, yeah, I can't. Just put up the lights. I have no makeup on. It's fine. Just go barefaced for the video.
And I'm just excited for all the new stuff that's coming out.
Yeah, I know.
At first, honestly, when we first heard about the next phase of Marvel, I was a little like, okay, cool. They're trying to now move into a new age of Marvel because, you know, everything that they've done has now come to a big conclusion with Endgame. So they're now in the transition phase. But when they were first kind of announcing this stuff, I was like, oh yeah, cool. I am just now getting more and more and more excited about what they're going to bring out.
Yes.
From Eternals, from Spider-Man, from the multiverse, and the fact that now we're going to get like these superheroes fighting in the multiverse, these superheroes fighting in the galaxy, and these superheroes fighting on Earth. We're getting 3 different locations and kind of environments of the MCU.
And with that said, we will continue to update you guys whenever we find out anything else, you know, about upcoming productions, future movies, and this and that. And we live stream, as you guys know, every Wednesday and every Saturday. So make sure to subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell if you haven't already so you don't miss any new videos. We've got a new vlog coming up that will be released tomorrow. And it's this... I've been editing it forever. It's from our visit to Avengers Campus. And what's taken so long is because I thought I filmed way less footage. And as it turns out, I had a lot more. And if I put everything in there, it's going to be like a 40-minute vlog that nobody has time to watch. So I have to split it up into 2 parts. So you'll get part 1 tomorrow and you'll get part 2 in a couple of days after. So once I finish editing that, so I can get all those media off of my memory card.
Look, I have so much material on here, so many megabytes, so many, not megabytes, so many gigabytes.
So yeah, so with that said, and also, you know, new things coming to the channel all the time, such as trailer reactions, movie reviews. We want to do a couple of more reviews for the movies that we're seeing recently. And we're going to continue doing maybe like a weekly vlog, like, you know, like one of the days in a week we release a vlog or something like that. So just something different other than just trailer reactions and movie reviews and live streams. So with that said, we bid you farewell for today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for hanging out with us. We love you guys. Wash your hands, don't touch your face, and we will see you on Wednesday for another live stream. Bye, everyone.